Hello everyone, welcome back. It's well, Happy New Year. It's 2020 now, and as you can see, it's fairly cold out here in the garage, and not a lot of progress has been made on the H project. This video is in a sense a update video, and I want to talk about kind of where we're standing as far as everything, I guess. And then I want to address something that has come up in the last couple weeks. But first things first, let's talk about the H. What I've been working on slowly but surely is kind of sandblasting all of the seal and bearing carriers, because I'll talk about why in a minute. But these are small pieces that I can take care of. This is just the hydraulic lever for the lift all pump. This is another seal carrier for the rear end. This is one of the 3 reverse idlers that I've got. Let's see. I don't even know where the other ones are. I think they're... Oh, here they are, right here. So I think this one is probably our best candidate as far as the shape of the teeth on the gears. These two are almost identical, but this one's probably a little bit better, so we'll end up using that one. These are just various piles of shims and bearing plates or keeper plates, however you want to term it. These are the 2 different bottom shafts, or counter shafts, I guess is what they're called, that I have. I have a 3rd counter shaft here, and this is the shaft I'll use, but I gotta kind of pick and choose what gears I'm going to use. I do have that new 3rd, 4th drive gear that was donated, and the 4th, 5th slider. So that's kind of where we're sitting with everything. I did go through all the bearings. There's some here. There's a couple on the workbench, and I've ordered the appropriate ones that need to be replaced. Let's see, what else? I did remove the bearings from the rear axles, the outer axle bearing. Really simple. All you got to do is drive it off. So with a large brass drift and a hammer, just slowly work your way around, and you can drive it off the exterior end of the axle. You can't drive it inwards because the inner portion of the axle is actually a bigger diameter, so you have to drive it out over the keyway section where the wheels actually slide on and off. So I didn't video that just because it's just driving the bearing off the axle. So we did order a new cross shaft for the brake and clutch pedals, because as you can see here, there's some very significant wear where they ride. So instead of having somebody weld and turn this shaft back down, it's far easier and probably much more cost effective to just replace the shaft. I think you can get them from Steiner and Yesterday's Tractor, and they're about $50 or $60 for a new shaft. We're still on the search for a clutch fork cross shaft. As you can see, this one is pretty well worn in that area, and Richard, his channel's Old Farm Junk 101, he's going to search for one for us and see what he can find in his lot. And let's see, where else can we go from here? The PTO we have already finished up. We did that video. Right now what we're working on, this is the full display of belt pulley drive parts. So you've got your drive shaft, your drive gear, bevel gear, another bevel gear on the shaft. This is the actual belt pulley shaft with a spacer. You've got a gasket, you've got a shim pack, your front cap for the front of the drive housing. This is the seal bearing retainer for the shaft itself. Bearings, nuts, bolts, fold over locks. There's all kinds of stuff here. So we'll go through a step-by-step reinstallation or reassembly procedure with this as well. One of the things I did find, there's a freeze plug or expansion plug on the back side of this housing where essentially this shaft rides in a bushing inside here, and this shaft isn't in the best shape. It could be turned and maybe a bigger bushing installed, but seeing as this tractor isn't going to do a lot of belt work, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to smooth this out with some emery cloth, and then I'll check out the bushing inside here. But this tractor is not going to be doing a lot of belt pulley work, so I'm not really concerned about that. Everything else looks to be in really good shape. The bearings are in good shape. The gears are in good shape, so it's not the end of the world for this to have a little bit of wear on this shaft. And on top of that, this is not pressure lubricated. So this is only splash lubricated by the transmission fluid or the gear lube. So I mean, for us to replace the shaft, replace the bushing, and really not get a whole lot of use out of this pulley, I don't foresee that being a real cost-effective way to do this belt pulley assembly. I essentially just wanted to reseal, regasket it, make sure all the bearings were okay, and that was about it. So that might be the only thing that we're going to scrimp on. I mean, there's some pretty good scoring in this shaft, but I don't know. We'll see. I'll check around and see what I can find and go from there. But anyways, this hole plug that goes in the back of this housing, I don't know if you can see this, but that's a pretty significant problem there. So we did go and pick up a brand new hole plug or freeze plug, expansion plug, whatever you want to call it, and it is a cupped plug, so easily attainable from any auto parts store. The part number on this I got from O'Reilly's. It's 555-086. So it's a little bit taller as far as the cup goes. The cup is a little bit taller, but there is plenty of room inside here to control the depth on that. Not a huge deal. So that's kind of where we're at with the belt pulley. We also did meet with Bill over at A-Blast in East Bethel, and he is very willing to help out with the project for sandblasting, so a huge thank you to Bill. When we get stuff over to him, essentially it's going to go from him to primer. So right now I'm struggling with how exactly I want to do it. If I want to do everything in pieces, kind of like how I have it here, or if I want to assemble the rear end, the frame rails, and the front pedestal as a roller, and then roll it into a shop, have them blast the chassis, and then bring it back here for primer. I don't know. I guess I'm struggling with that just because I don't know. I guess leave your opinions down below if you think I should blast everything individually or assemble it into a rolling chassis. But my thought was, if I did it into a rolling chassis, if I can get all of the seal carriers that are exposed, if I can get all of those blasted, and then before it goes as a chassis over to the sandblast shop, I can wrap all these areas with duct tape to prevent any sand from entering the seals or damaging them. So that was kind of my thought process as to why I was blasting a lot of these parts. But I'm open to suggestions. I'm not going to wire wheel this thing. I don't have the time, nor do I have the funds to buy multiple wire wheels to get this all done. So leave your opinions down below on whether or not we should do it as a rolling chassis or if we should do it as piece by piece. Whoa, we got the camera pointed up at the sky here. The only thing that I'm struggling with on that was really the transmission deck top cover. If I do this piece by piece, I'm going to have to pull that shifter assembly apart as well as all the shifting rails on this, because I don't want to get sand inside any of these moving parts. So, not that that's a huge deal, I just wasn't planning on disassembling that part. But anyways, let's it's pretty cold out here. I'd have to say it's about close to 0. So let's go in the house and we'll finish up this update with something I want to talk about that's happened in the last couple weeks. All right. Okay, back inside where it's warm. So as you guys probably know, I've been trying to be very good about updating everybody on what's going on through both my YouTube channel. I do a lot on Facebook. I also post on a antique tractor forum the updates that we have in this restoration, because I figure the more people I expose to these videos, for one, it helps the cause in knowing that why we're doing this restoration is not just to restore a tractor, but it's for suicide awareness and mental health. And two, it helps educate people on how these things come apart, how they go back together, even though what I'm doing may not be the right, quote unquote, right way all the time. It's what works for me, and it's what got me to this point of having the tractor 99.9% disassembled. I mean, I don't have a whole lot of special tools, and I was able to do all of this with what I've got. And I think that's another great thing to put out there in these videos and on Facebook and on these forums. And I always put updates on this forum, and I've been going to this forum since I was 12 years old. 1998 was the first post that I made on this forum. Yeah, do the math. I'm not 12 years old anymore. But with anything, I just want to let everybody know, no matter what you do in life, whether it's stuff for your own personal good or for somebody else's well-being, no matter what you do, you're always going to be met with criticism and skepticism. And I just want to kind of let you guys in on what happened over the last couple weeks. And it has nothing to do with me not making videos. I simply haven't had time. I've been working a lot, and there's been some things going on in our personal life outside of YouTube and Facebook and tractors that required my presence more than what YouTube's required. So here's just a few screenshots of the last responses, or some of the last responses I received to the last posting I made on this antique tractor forum. So go ahead and check these out. And yeah, it was bothersome to me. So check them out. Okay, now that we're back, I was able to pull myself back from responding right away because that is never a good thing to do, is respond, especially over electronic communications. It's never a good idea to respond um, emotionally and in that heat of the moment type of situation. So I slept on it and I responded to the comments in a very, what I thought was professional and understanding manner. But this project is not about, I mean, if there's people that think I'm trying to take advantage of other people's bank accounts or piggybacking on a real issue, suicide and mental health, I mean, this affects my family to the deepest depths. I mean, my mom, we lost to suicide. I've lost 4 friends to suicide. I have lost coworkers, have lost people that they know. It affects the law enforcement community and the military community hugely. They have an overwhelming amount of suicides and mental health issues. And for me to be, I guess, accused of piggybacking on something that's such a big issue, I would never do that. That's a real low thing to do. And second, I would never try to take advantage of anybody's bank accounts by way of doing this restoration. I mean, it does bother me, but I'm not gonna let it eat at me, because these days with social media, and especially social media, anybody can say anything to anyone virtually without any repercussions or real negative interaction or consequences. I mean, I usually don't address these things because, quite frankly, they hardly ever pop up. At least for this project, this is the first time that I've actually been accused of taking people's money for my own personal gain. And then I thought about it like, well, if I was gonna take people's money for personal gain, don't you think I'd choose something more valuable than a Farmall H? But whatever. I mean, like I said, there's gonna be critics and skepticists, I guess, than nowadays than there ever will be. So, or than there ever has been, especially when you're dealing with social media, and couple that with the fact that there are a lot of crooked people out there. And as far as this project goes, I've laid everything out. I guess you could say every nut and bolt I've laid out with both my intentions and our intentions in this project and where we're going with it. So, at the end of the day, if this project, if we don't raise any money for the SAVE organization, let's say we get this thing all back together and painted, if we don't raise any money, we have still accomplished a lot. We've created a lot of videos and a lot of awareness amongst the tractor community on suicide awareness and mental health. We've created a lot of how-to videos on an entire disassembly of a Farmall H and reassembly. I can't tell you how many people have emailed and thanked for just the videos we've created. So thank you for the acknowledgement in that. And we've also, we can spread awareness by other ways, in other ways. We don't have to, worst case scenario, we don't have any money to donate at the end to the SAVE organization. We can still travel around with the tractor. We have banners, we have donor plaques that are going to be going along with it. We have suicide awareness memorabilia, I guess you could call it, that's going to be going with the tractor at every show it goes to. So even if the SAVE organization piece ends up not being fulfilled, we are still fulfilling a cause by bringing this tractor and showing it and including all those suicide awareness elements at the shows. So I just I just wanted to address that and get it off my chest, and I really hope that nobody feels like I'm trying to take advantage of anybody or exploit a very serious issue. That is not at all in any way my intention. So, and again, this whole GoFundMe it's a volunteer donation program. It's nothing that I'm forcing anybody to do. So, I mean, if you don't want to donate, if you don't believe in it, then don't donate. It's pretty simple. But anyways, that's where we're at with that. So the H project, I'm still trying to line up another weekend where we can get some of the parts that are left to clean down to my cousin's shop and put through their parts cleaner and rotisserie steam cleaner. And then it's going to be ready for sandblast pretty much. We still have to do the hydraulic pump, and that is just going to be pulling the pump out of the reservoir, putting a new seal in the pump, new gasket, cleaning everything up and putting it back together. So that should all be just an easy, couple hour deal, if that, maybe an hour. So yeah, let me know what you guys think on the sandblasting issue. If you think I should do it as a rolling chassis, or if you think I should do the pieces each separately. There's advantages and disadvantages to both. If I do it each piece individually, I'll be able to get primer on every part of it. So that is a huge advantage. And we can also reassemble everything very elementally as well, just very basic step by step, versus scrambling to get it all together and sandblasted and then primed, and then we have to actually disassemble a lot of it to reassemble other parts. So to me, it seems more advantageous to do it as individual pieces. But leave your opinions in the comments below. I hope you guys had a great New Year and a very good Christmas, and hope everybody got what they wanted. But that's where we're at. So stay tuned, and we've got hopefully more coming soon. All right. Talk to you guys later.